Y'all, my grades are just increasing more and more every day, and I'm just gonna roll with it. Hi, it's me, Camila Rose. I literally just uploaded my first update, which I feel like I lost a video because I am 1,000% sure that I recorded another video and I don't know what happened to it. Anyways, so 185 insane update. I realized my tracking is like non-existent. So y'all, here is, can't see anything because it's bright white. There we go. Here is the little tracking that I've been doing that I just wrote out. So we are week, I'm counting, technically I started on June 20th, but I'm counting that Sunday, the 22nd, as like week 1. So technically we are on week 5. We have one more day left, well, today and tomorrow, until we're done with week 5. And then once I hit week 6, I think I'm counting week 6 as the first quarter, so of the complete 185 days. So I will be in the next week seeing how that goes. Let's do updates. So I had to go and figure out, here are my sticky notes, what should I have been tracking? What should I have been keeping up with? And then from there, I was like, it'd be really nice to color coordinate because then I could see per day what's showing up. But I really just need to like get my planner and write down on each day and then get some actual like maybe some tracking graphics or charts or something. But I don't know. We're going to see what I feel like doing. But here's what I've come up with, right? So I know I need to track for writing 1K a day because it's supposed to be a writing entrepreneur challenge for me, and we're going to get to that. Tracking 1K a day, 1K writing, and then 1K editing because I have 2 projects I'm working on. Then we have go to an author event, but I don't need to track that one. 3 pieces of content. I'm supposed to post 3 pieces of content a day. And then my off days, we'll talk about that one. 10K steps a day, which I just kind of know is 4 miles a day. 2 Stanleys so water. On my long walk 1 day a week. Sauna cold plunge 1 day a week. I was supposed to add in weight training, so I know I need to make an actual goal around that. And then no social media before or after 9. 30 minutes of reading a day, 1 hobby. I added this in there because I knew I need to clarify because it just said like 1 hobby. So how do you track that? How do you quantify that, right? And then create a new somatic offering. That one I'm going to have to get into the nitty gritty with as well. So the ones that I was like, well, here's what I know I can actually like keep up with and check in with. So we have write 1K a day, my content, 10K steps, long walk, no social media before after 9, reading, and those are the only ones that I was like, I know I can actually like go back and get my numbers for those. So let's start, right? We'll start with our write 1K a day because like I said, this is supposed to be about AuthorTube and like entrepreneurship. The numbers are abysmal for writing. It is a shame. Okay, so if I'm writing 1K a day, editing 1K a day, technically for my writing, I should have 7K words a week. The first week, I had a total of 3,034 words. The second week, I had 291. The third week, I had 18. The fourth week, I had 0. And then this week, so far, I have 1,789, I believe, but I still have today and tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to get any writing done. I'm going to be real honest with y'all because I did all this update stuff in the afternoon, and then I have a sound bath. I have an event I have to do this evening, so I don't think that's going to be happening. But tomorrow, we can get some writing in. So I'm going to make sure that I stay on that. As you can see, though, the highest was only 3,000 for 1 week out of 7,000. That's not even halfway. So I have not been making my writing goals. I have not been prioritizing writing. Like I might have opened up the document, and I use Scrivener. And one of the nice things that I noticed was that Scrivener actually does keep track of like how much you write a day. So I don't have to worry about tracking that on my own anymore. I can just go in there and see what it says as far as like the total for the day. So that's really nice. But because of that, I have very low numbers. So that has to change immediately. That has to go higher up on my priority list. Then I have my content. Now that one was much better because I got into and was forcing myself into the habit of posting. So you're supposed to be posting, what did I write down? I said post 3 pieces of content. Here's the thing. I am not sure I'm going to actually post 3 pieces of content. That feels like so much. I think, so what I count as posting is I post 1 piece of content and it'll post automatically on Instagram and Facebook. And then I do updates on Threads. I post on Threads. Those are my 3 main social media platforms. And then I do stories and things like that. So for me, I'm like, if it's posting across these 3 platforms, honestly, I'm going to take it. Now I have stories and the post or the reel. So I could do a post, I could do a reel, and then I could do a story. And that would count as technically 3 pieces of content. But I've really just been looking at, okay, I post or I have a reel, I have something that goes up once a day across different platforms. So when I looked at that one, the goal is supposed to be obviously 7 out of 7. So the days that I met that was, the first week was 6 out of 7, second week was 6 out of 7, third week was 5 out of 7, fourth week was 6 out of 7, and then this week with 1 day left is 6 out of 7. So I find that I usually miss 1 day. I miss 2 days on week 3. So I'm going to have to work on that. At this rate, I'm at about 85% of meeting my goal for that one. Then 10K steps a day, which for me, I just average as about 4 miles a day. And I need to change that. Well, let's take a look at what I did. So week 1 was 4 out of 7. Week 2 was 4 out of 7. Week 3 was 7 out of 7. So I finally made a goal. Woo, for me. Week 4 was 6 out of 7. Week 5, which is the week we're in so far, is 5 out of 7. So I have 1 day left. Which I think is kind of weird. Did I not write that? Oh, because I only walked 2 miles today because I did a yoga class. I need to change that. So I have my long walk 1 day. That's a separate goal. So that'll feed into my, 10K steps a day. But here's the thing. I'm supposed to also be taking 2 days off, which means I'm probably going to not walk as much because I'm trying to give my body time to rest. I'm trying to allow myself and my mind time to rest. So I need to change this goal. I need to change it to 10K 5 days a week so that I can get my 2 rest days. I will probably only be doing maybe 1 rest day a week because I've started a running training plan. But even then, on the running training plan, it has rest days built into it. So I have to change this goal up because I'm not going to be, even if it's oh, well, you're not running or you're not going to the gym, I would have to be doing a lot of walking in order to reach that 10K. And with the running plan and the long walks and the yoga classes, it's a lot and it's a lot on my body. So I want to be gentle with myself. So I'm going to change this to 5 days a week. And then anytime I go over, it's just a yay. And then I don't have to feel oh, I'm not meeting my goal if I'm only doing 4 days or if I'm only doing 5 days out of the week. Now you'll note that the first 2 I had 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7. But then I picked up towards the end as I kind of started to get my system together. I think this will also be really nice for me when I have it's that time of the month because I don't want to play that game. Long walks. So long walks, I met that goal completely. I just do every month, basically. I start with 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then I just switch it around depending on how long the month is or anything like that. So that was not really something that is a big deal for me. It's not even really a big goal for me. So I'm just going to leave that one as is. Here's an interesting one. No social media before or after 9. So let's take a look at how many days I made. So it should be 7 out of 7. That's our 100%. So the first week we had 6 out of 7. The second week we had 2 out of 7. 2 days out of 7 days. Third week we had 3. Fourth week we had 2. And then this week we had 6 with 2 days left because I have to get to after 9 o'clock this evening before it'll just be 1. obviously I was struggling with this. The interesting thing is that for a lot of these days, it was just like, I have it written down like how many minutes it was after 9 o'clock. For some of these, it was like 23, 11. If it was under 5 minutes, I didn't count it. But if it was over 5, like I have, this one was 13, one was 19. One was exactly 5 minutes. So there weren't any that were like super wild, but I was on social media after 9 o'clock. Part of that is, so I started putting timers on my phone and I really love it. I started setting modes. And so I have a relax mode, which happens on my off days on Mondays and Fridays when I have access. Well, the first time I had it, I had access to social media after 4 o'clock. Here's the thing. I'm supposed to be posting 3 pieces of content, or at least posting something that'll go across 3 platforms. And so because I had it set so late, I would either forget or I would try to rush, or it would be like kind of late when I would be like, let me just go ahead and post. So I had to amend that mode to offer an hour at least during the day at 9 o'clock, from 9 to 10 on Fridays and Mondays, to be able to get that post in there, get it done, keep it moving. What I need to do is just schedule my post ahead of time, but we'll get to that. The other thing is that I didn't implement the modes on my phone until like 3 weeks ago. It was exactly 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I started putting the modes. So the first one I did was I did the sleep. Well, I've had the sleep mode for like a year, maybe a year and a half. So it's where everything goes grayscale on my phone at 10 o'clock. But I didn't have restriction on apps, but now I have the restriction on apps. I added that in 3 weeks ago. And then I was like, oh, let me do a work mode. So in work mode, I have from 9 to 12:30. And then I had 12:30. I could access the social medias from 12:30 to, no, it was 10. It was 10:30 to 12:30. I could get on social. No, let me restart. Okay. So I couldn't have access to social media until 9 o'clock. And then at 10:30, it went into work mode till 12:30. And then I had a break from 12:30 to 2:30. And then it went back into work mode till 5 o'clock. And I was like, that's too much time to get on social media. So I restricted it even further. And I had work mode be from, it's from 10:30 to 1:30. No, 10:30 to 12:30. I can get on social media from 12:30 to 1:30, and then it stays off till I think 5:30, 5 o'clock. And then, so I just cut an extra hour out of there, and then it goes into relax mode. So, because I'm like, I want the evenings to be mine. So I added a third mode, relax, and relax kicks into effect. So sleep goes from 10 p.m. to either 5 or 7, depends on what my alarm is set for. There's a range there. And then as soon as sleep mode goes off, relax mode goes on from either 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock, when I can get on my socials and I can post for the day. And then it goes work, and then it goes back into relax after 5 p.m. And then from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. when sleep goes. And so my time now where I can access my social media on my phone is about 2.5 hours. And I think that's perfect. I don't think I really need to be on social media any longer than that. I don't need to be just scrolling and doing everything like that. I need to find better coping mechanisms if I feel stressed or bored or something like that. It has made a significant difference in my interest, in my ability to focus. Like, it's very, very helpful. So if that's something you have access to and you're interested in it, I totally say take advantage of it. And then, like, if I really need to get on there, I can get it on my desktop or my laptop. I don't necessarily feel like I have to like restrict that, but I am really mindful if I'm on there of like not just being on there scrolling, like having a purpose, answering a message, doing something like that, posting, and then getting off and doing something else. As we can see, that something else has not been writing, but it is shifting my framework. One of the things, though, it has been, as you'll see, I'm before 9 o'clock, I met all of my goals. So it's not a morning issue. I don't have a morning issue not getting on social media. I had an evening issue with that. So that's why I made those changes to be like, just go in relax mode and just don't get on there at all, to make sure that I didn't like cross the line. And to like keep those evening numbers down. But what I did do really great with was reading. And I was obviously spending some of this time reading. Now, I was not tracking the physical books I'm reading, so I probably need to do that. I was this week just because I remember reading, but I wasn't last week or any of the prior 4 other weeks. So I just have what I was reading on my Kindle Unlimited. So for those, it should be 7 out of 7 for the whole week. So I did 5 out of 7. I did 3 out of 7 for the second week. I did 2 out of 7 for the third week. I did 6 out of 7 for week 4. And so far I am at 6 out of 7 for week 5. And tomorrow I will just have to read for 30 minutes. I think reading will probably be the easiest one for me to accomplish outside of the long walks, but I kind of don't even count those, so you know. So here are the things that I need to track, because I will not be able to do so by just trying to remember how I did. My water intake, my sleep routine, that was on the list, but I need to flesh that one out more. What I'm thinking, because I've been doing this for the past 3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks has been kind of like a cornerstone for me. I feel like I made a video about some changes that happened 3 weeks ago, but I'm going to have to find it, or I'll just make a new one. But I got much better. Let me see, because I can probably tell what week it was. It was the first week of July. That was kind of a rough week for me. And then... oh no, yeah, it was just that one. It was that first week of July. It was a rough, 3 weeks ago. It was a rough week for me. And then I was like, this isn't going to work. We have to reset. And so I started getting really strict about, you need to go to bed. You need to go to bed. You need to go to bed. I would say that first week and a half, I was still on that like 12 o'clock mark, real close there. But in the last week, 10:30, 11 at the latest, I have been getting to bed on time. I've been making sure I take my baths before I go to bed. I've been making sure that like I do all of my skincare, that I make sure that I brush my teeth well, because you know you can do the lazy brush just to be like, I did it. Like, I'm making sure I'm actually keeping up with everything. I want to make sure that I am tracking that, because I really like it, and it does reset my energy for night, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be my nighttime sleep routine. But I'm going to need to just write out all the details, find a tracking system, and then get that together. So that's on the list of things to do. And then a hobby. My hobby was supposed to be drawing. Then I was like, maybe I'll do pottery. I have no idea, but I need to actually track whatever it is. And then I gave myself a loose goal of doing 2 times a week that I take part in my hobby. So that was one that was like a little bit of clarity there on that one. And then I need to spend a little bit more time looking at some of these other things, like the publishing, do an author event or go to an author event, to, let me see, make new author friends. I think those are really the only ones. I also need to do some entrepreneur things. I know one of mine was to, which it's not on this one, which I think is interesting, but it was to monetize, I think, something. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do better with that one. It was to create a new somatic offering. So I need to do better with that. I do have some new events coming up and things that I'm excited about. There's been good progress there. But I need to get, I need to clearly write out some goals related to that so that I can have something that I can very clearly follow. I also need to look at increasing my income. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been working on that for a while, and I find that like if I drop something, like I decrease the amount of yoga classes I'm taking, or I decrease the amount of places that I'm reading tarot at, while I recover that income that I would have lost doing that, I'm still not making more. And I know in your head you might be like, well, you should have kept the old stuff and then like increased the stuff where you're at. But I know that I need to be making a shift in a different direction. And I have been very tempted. I've been watching some of my friends and things, and I don't know. I want to be involved in something. I want to do something. So I think I need to find like a little part-time something that will meet a need I have to be more involved in my community. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. But I need to flesh out those professional goals a little bit more. I have been taking classes. So I wanted to do a somatic offering. I'm in a somatic training. I have I have some couple events coming up. I know what I want to offer when it comes in the fall. So there's things like that that are in the works, but I need to get more specific. I need to actually start tracking, and I need to make some progress there, like actually make some progress there. But I feel a lot more clear about many things. Whereas even when I first made the 185 video, I was not as comfortable in where I was, in what I was doing, in what I was working on. It was kind of like a throw something at the wall and see what will stick. I think it's also been like at least, well, specifically these last 3 weeks have really increased a lot of my confidence when it comes to these goals, because I think in my head I was telling myself it was going to be very difficult, or so much more difficult than what it has been. And that's been something that's been really nice for me and really like shifting my energy around things, and it's making me want to do more. So priorities, number one priority is writing. Number one priority, I have some events that I said were coming up. So several of my events are directly related to my Venus intensive that I'm working on. That has to get done by fall equinox. So I'm like, I have to button down and get the writing done with that. I need to get the editing done for my book. I found a write-up schedule that I had, and it was like, I'm kind of technically still on schedule. So I'm like, just get it done and get it out there. And yeah, other than that, so here's the other thing. So I've added running. I've been in this real big health kick. I like the movement. I've been thinking about what was it I would want to do? What is it I want my life to look like? What do I want to be able to do in the activities and the behaviors that I exhibit? And I don't really care about running, but I like running and I like the idea of running. So every now and then to be able to run or jog, I guess it's not running, it's probably jogging. But to be able to jog, pick up maybe 2 times a week and go for a quick little jog, do a couple of miles. I would like to be able to do that, because I walk a ton, but I don't run or jog a lot. So then I want to be able to increase my endurance. I also want to be able to do more complex yoga and things like that. And so I need to improve my core strength. So we're going into the weight training, and so that has to be, and I don't know if I talked about that one, but that one has to be added on there. And then just fleshing out the additional goals that are in here. I feel really good about this though. It was really nice to see the places where I was doing really well and the places I need to improve, and to have more of a plan about when I need to check in, to know that I have basically all of next week, finished next week, and then I'm at my quarter. So that's my update.